have a look at this. This is in the GTV library. This is about oil volatility. My question to you is fairly straightforward. How much of Brent at $72.25, there's the vol, we're at an 8-month high in terms of volatility. How much political risk is in that price? I think SocGen have a number, a variety of houses have numbers in this. How do you see oil prices correlated to pricing risk escalation?
It's very challenging to actually understand how much pricing risk geopolitics has on the markets. But we've done our own forecast of both the tensions in Syria as well as potential ramifications of Iranian resumption of sanctions, which is now our base case scenario. We think that Donald Trump will not sign the waiver agreement on the 12th of May. And we think at risk is roughly around 250 to 350,000 barrels of Iranian crude. And we think in terms of pricing, at least another $7 to $12 on Brent and WTI could potentially, in the lead up of the 12th of May agreement, could potentially come to the market.
It's interesting that you point that out, because when the Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin speaking overnight, you have additional input from the likes of SocGen. They think actually 500,000 barrels a day could come offline by the end of the year if the sanctions do kick back in. And we've put a lovely graphic together to really showcase which countries are at risk of losing some of their output this year. How is this going to play out exactly? You say the sanctions are going to snap back in. The Iranians are not going to just sit back and watch this happen. I mean, they've worked so hard over so many years to put this agreement in place.
Absolutely. I think we need to distinguish about which countries will join forces with the US if the sanctions come back in place. Our expectation is that some European countries will not, and in a sense of Iranian exports to some of these European countries will continue. If we look back at when sanctions came back into place in Iran in 2012, roughly around 1 million barrels of Iranian crude was at risk. This time around, we think it's going to be much less magnitude, simply because not the international community is on board with this. It just seems to be just going to be the US. But if we have a look, and in terms of the reduction of Iranian supply off the market, if we assume, say, 250 to 350,000 barrels, our expectation is that this will quickly be absorbed by Saudi and the rest of the OPEC countries. It's very quick for them to actually not only willing and also capable, but also, of course, they would like to increase their market share. So for that reason, we think the impact on supply is not going to be very high because of this compensation.